Right, so yesterday I explained why you need to ask for mobile numbers every time you're talking to your customers. You need to be asking for your mobile numbers literally every time you talk with any person who's interacting with your business. If they contact you on LinkedIn, if they contact you on Facebook, if they contact you on Instagram or wherever, one of the first questions would be, well, here's my mobile number, can I get yours? Or offer them something that will get their mobile number from them. So today's session, I'm going to have an Ask Me Anything session, and you're welcome to pop any questions live on the session below here. I'm running this live on StreamYard, so you can pop your questions and then I can choose the questions that we're going to discuss and they'll pop up on the screen if there are any questions. Otherwise, if you post after this has gone live and it's a replay, I'll come back later and answer your questions on there. The link to join my Profitable Fitness 5-day challenge is going to be posted in the first comment below this video once I've published it. So as I said to you yesterday, we were discussing how important it is for you to use mobile numbers in your business. Mobile numbers have the power to literally double your sales by just adding that question to your sales funnel or your sales process. Please, may I have your mobile number so we can send you alerts and keep you up to date. That's all you have to ask your customer. Some of the oldest and most experienced marketers are doing this. David L. Deutsch, one of the biggest marketers from the copywriting days of sending post to your house with lumpy mail, he's doing it. Ed Dale does it. Russell Brunson does it. Tony Robbins does it. The question is, are you asking for mobile numbers from your customers? Because you should be. You really are throwing sales away. You're trashing more than half your business, potential sales that you could bank if you're not asking for mobile numbers. So if you've got any questions about how do you go about setting up your sales feed so that you can use mobile numbers and you can have that communication point with your customers, today's the day where you can ask me literally anything about how to get mobile numbers from your customers. What are the safety concerns? What are the privacy concerns? Are there any laws you need to be aware of? Yes, there are, and I'm here to help you. So if you want to know more about this, just pop questions in the question box below this chat, and I'll be very happy to engage with you, or send me a direct message and I'll help you out. So there are pros and cons to anything in business. And with SMS, obviously the limited space it has is very much a constraint. It's unlike a long sales letter where you can have pages and pages of information to convince the person to push that buy button. You've only got 140 characters. In addition, it's costing you money to send us SMS. So you want to be very careful about what you're putting in the SMS. And there are things that you want to definitely do and things you definitely don't want to do. The good thing about SMS is it gets read. That is a huge pro for the SMS side, versus very few things that detract from the value of SMS. The things that make SMS so valuable to you in using it in your business just far outweigh any concerns or issues you might have about actually putting it into action. So how do you go about planning your SMS? First, you need to know who you are going to target. The first thing I'd suggest there is do not use it as a broadcast message where you're sending one message to everybody. SMS is a highly personal channel, and it achieves a very high level of attention from the subscribers that are connected to you. The difference between SMS and apps like WhatsApp and Voxer and Viber and Instagram and Telegram and all these other apps where you can send in-app messages is that SMS can't be deleted as a channel from a mobile phone. You can't get rid of that because it's built at the time the phone is manufactured. Unlike the apps, which you could just download at any time and delete and change, you can't change your SMS app. It's stuck. It's there for good. It's what your phone manufacturer wants you to use. And there are reasons for that, because of the vast complexities of how the backend and the interconnectivity works between mobile networks. They have to be sure that the message gets to the endpoint where it's going, because they bill for those messages. And to them, it's all about revenue. That's why there is SMS on your phone. The second point about it, that's how to plan your messages. You need to structure your message so that you capture the person's attention in those first 3 seconds that they're looking at your video, at your SMS. As they see the thing scroll across their notifications on their phone, you want to use that short time that it's showing on the screen of the phone. And you literally have got less than 3 seconds to capture people's attention. And this comes down to some studies that have been done over the years. A few years ago, it was known that we have approximately 8 or 9 seconds of attention. Today, we've got less attention span than the goldfish. And it's purely because of the flood of information that we're getting that comes. It's just the social feed is at you all the time and being manipulated to focus and hone in on what is predicted that you want to see. SMS, on the other hand, is so hardwired into the actual hardware of your phone. Like I said, you can't delete it. Now, if you get a message from your bank, you're going to want to read that message quickly, because it could be maybe some money going out of your account or a payment you're waiting to see that was confirmed. So this is the thing, how to get your customer's attention in those first 3 seconds. You literally have got less than 3 seconds. If you blow that opportunity, the person's just going to scroll on to the next thing. The hidden benefit of SMS is that while most people are engaged on the social feed scrolling on their phones, SMS is not in the social feed. It's actually out of channel. So by pinging them an SMS message, the notification that arrives on their phone is going to make them stop what they're doing, and they're going to get up and go over to the SMS channel on their phone, and then they're going to read it and dismiss it, because no one wants to see like 562 unread messages in their SMS box. And most phones today can't hold a huge bunch of SMSs unless you've got one of the bigger smartphones. But for the majority of phones, they don't have a huge SMS storage space, because that's actually done on the SIM card. There's limited storage space in there. Now, how to get people to read your message is actually not taught in schools. You didn't learn it in English, you didn't learn it in any of the subjects that you may have had, or literature or theatre studies that you may have had at school. It comes with copywriting skills. And this is one of the easiest things to learn, but it takes time. It's kind of like watching paint dry. It takes a long time to learn this, to get it right. And it's a skill called copywriting. Now, there are people you may know very well, like Dan Kennedy, Ed Dale, Russell Brunson, Jeff Walker, some of the legends of Frank Kern, some of the legends of copywriting, right? Now, if you're engaged in watching their content, you will see how they craft what they're saying. It's almost like a waterfall as you're reading one statement in their conversation to the next, because they never tell you what you want to know right up front. They keep that until the end of a conversation, and it's right near the buy button. That's where they deliver the value to you. But by then you've consumed all of this content that you've read, one statement making you curious enough to read the next statement, and eventually you're at the checkout point, and you know enough about what you've read about to have developed an emotional attachment to what they are offering you. And it's often hooked to a thing that you're going to miss out if you don't act now. And that is a critical part of your marketing. You always need to create that urgency, but you've got to be honest about it and truthful. Don't create false emergencies for time frames that don't really exist. if your offer says you are going to put the price up, you need to do that when you said you would, because otherwise people know that guy's just joshing with me. You don't have to worry with him. You know, I can come back to this offer at any point in time. And that's the thought you want to stop in their mind right there and then. You do not want people thinking, you know, I'll come back to this some other time, because I know I've seen this before. The price is always the same, but he just says he's putting it up. And the other thing with copywriting is you use this test and measure scenario. Now, some of the biggest consulting firms, McKinsey and so, they are very efficient at doing test and measure, test and measure. There's a whole school around this called Six Sigma. So a lot of the project managers out there, Prince 2, and if you're in the IT world, Prince 2 and Six Sigma, you'll know that those management systems have got methods which test and measure. You make an adjustment, and then you measure what the results were. Then you make another adjustment, and you measure what the results were. Now, this is what copywriting is all about. You need to have a starting point. So you do this in your text messages. And what I use to do this is some books that I got from some of the old masters, and this is one of them. So this is a book called How to Write a Good Advertisement, and it's by Victor Schwab. It is one of the best books I've ever seen in 20 years of reading and studying with marketers. And the other one that I read quite a lot of is this one, The Boron Letters. Now, if you don't know who these guys are, Gary Halbert and his son Bond. Gary is no longer with us, unfortunately, so the only thing I can offer you is you can connect with Bond Halbert on Facebook. He runs a group, and he's a really interesting character to follow. He's a really professional copywriter. These guys charge tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, to write a sales letter. So learning from them as to how they write can really help you. So now, in your SMS message, you don't want to start your message with words that are going to waste the attention span. And specifically, you don't want to start with introducing yourself like, hi, my name's so-and-so, and I run this, and I hope you're interested. You've just lost 2 seconds of time. So on page 10 of this book, right, there's a number of words which, and there's a reason why you want to start your message in SMS with these words. Here's, there, which, these, who, when, where, what, and why. There's actually a poem written by those words, which is quite funny. They talked about 7 friends. Now, these words are what will help you seed the idea as to how to structure your sentence, but you have to start your SMS message with one of those words. If it's a marketing message that you're sending out, I highly recommend you avoid sending links in SMS messages. It's as bad as sending them in email. You do have to send them in email, because otherwise how are you going to push them to your offer if that's the way you're doing it? But SMS is very dangerous to send a link in, so don't do that. And this brings me to the second thing that you need to use SMS for, and that is to develop trust with your customer. Now, I want to see if I can wake up my old phone, because this is a phone I use for running some items that we do on SMS. And this is how it works. So if we look here, right, you can see, I'm just going to get the SMS up for you. Right, so you can see at the top there, I have got a little name that says, oh, that's green. That's why the green screen is killing it. So I'll try and do a screenshot of this a little later. Let me see if this works. Okay. No, the green screen behind me is actually going to kill the message. But what happens is at the top of the message over here is your sender ID. It's usually a phone number that the messages come from, right? And you can replace that phone number with a name. Now, I'll show you on the screen over here. So just want to delete this one because you don't actually need to see anything from my back, thank you, which are just doing some important things for me on keeping my things safe. So you can see over here, right, where is this? Okay, so you can see over here, let's just point SMShero, and there's one from GiftGaff, right? So I'm obviously using a SIM from GiftGaff. Now that is where you can change the name of the person who's sending the SMS. So normally you'd see a phone number from the person who sent you the SMS if they're not in your phone book, or you'd see the person's name if they're in their phone book. Now you can put your brand name there. So for me, I'm using one called SMShero because that's my brand. And people who get texts from me start to recognize my brand on their phone. This is a very powerful way to start building trust. And it's a good thing to start getting used to it now because there's a change coming out in commercially. You'll be able to access this next year sometime. It's only in beta amongst the very biggest of SMS companies at the moment. It's called verified SMS. And it's a huge change in SMS marketing. Because of the problems people have had with spam and messages from tricksters and phishers who are trying to trick you with your phone number, people have lost their trust with the channel. That is why trust is now such a huge thing to be offered as something that you can use SMS to build trust with your customers. Now, as a start, you can enter your sender identity on the SMS you're sending to put your brand name there. So it could be Joe's Fitness Club or Joe's Fitness or something, and they'll actually see that name at the top of their screen where the SMS sender identity is. It's a thing called sender ID in SMS, in text messaging. So you'll hear me talk about that a lot. And when people start seeing that, they start to trust you because you have to pre-register these names. You can't just send out one that you pick out of a hat. You have to pre-register these so you know the companies that are doing this have gone through quite a big process with the mobile operator to make sure that you are getting the right sender ID on their message. And they're paying a lot of money to do that, usually. So now, as part of the SMShero 5-day profitable fitness challenge, I'm offering a chance for you to get into using sender identities on SMS for free. Now, normally this is charged for. It costs thousands a year to access platforms that do this, but I'm giving it to you for free, just to help you get used to it and to see how you can start building trust with your customers. Trust is why people pay you, and that's what I want you to remember. Trust is why people pay you. If you can get your customers to trust you, they will pay you. So one message for all is not going to work. It's not like TV advertising where it's almost like a shotgun. You can just spray and hope you're going to hit a target. SMS advertising is very much laser targeted to hit the target because it's not cheap. It costs money and it needs to deliver on what it's doing. So you need to construct your SMS very carefully. And that's why I haven't got the book here yet, but I have ordered it. It's Eugene Schwartz's Breakthrough Advertising. And if you can get hold of it, I recommend you would. Don't go on Amazon. It costs 7 times what I got it for. I got it direct from Brian Kurz. If you look him up on Facebook or online, he's the actual title owner of Eugene Schwartz's book. He's purchased the title for publishing it. You can get it from him for about $125 or pounds, I think. It's well worth getting. Now, Eugene Schwartz spoke about 5 different states of awareness. And at the 2 different ends of the rainbow, as it were, or the bridge, you have people who know absolutely nothing about you. They've never heard of you. They don't even know your product can solve something they're having a problem with. And on the other end of the spectrum, are people who are buying from you. So they know all about you. Some may have the products that you've sold already. Some may be looking at new products that you're bringing out. They have a relationship with you. They're a hot audience. They're not even warm. They are boiling hot. They're affiliated with you. You're in their tribe, as it were. So if you're running an offer, those are the 5 different kinds of SMSs that you need to run. You need to have one for people that don't know anything about you, and then you move them through various stages of awareness, and you also have one message for those that know all about you. And the way you do that is by wording the message specifically. I'll give you an example. So if you are targeting cold traffic who don't know anything about you, then what you need to do is to word your advertising so that you position the product first, because the person is going to see the product, and in their mind, subconsciously, they're going to link it with their pain point or their problem that they're trying to solve. So that's the first tip for you, right? And if you want, you can go and get Jim Edwards' book on copywriting secrets. That's where that idea comes from. It's a really good guide on how to structure your messaging so you don't target the wrong people. Because the way to sell a lot of hamburgers, as it were, is really to find a lot of hungry people. Because if you don't have hungry people at your hungry hamburger stand, you're not going to sell any advertising at all. So you need to know where your hungry market is so that you can find them and put your product in front of them all the time. So if you haven't got Eugene Schwartz's book, Breakthrough Advertising, I'd really recommend you go and get that. Here's a heads up though. So why don't Rolls-Royce advertise on TV? Well, it's because their customers aren't there. They're doing other things. They don't sit around wasting time watching TV. So you need to take a lesson from that and put your advertising where your customers are, the type of customers you want. You need to find where they are and put your advertising in front of them. So with SMS, it's really so simple to advertise to people on SMS. All you have to do is to ask them for their mobile number. And once you've got it, you need to be very careful that you respect that privacy that they've trusted you with. Don't share that number with anybody, not on your life. And the second thing is, don't message them with stuff that they're not interested in, because they will just block you and they'll ask you to stop messaging them. And now with the privacy laws on GDPR, and in the States, you've got even more draconian laws if you message people that didn't ask you for it. I've heard of people being sued in the real estate industry for sending a customer a text that they were just talking to, and the guy had given him the phone number. You need to specifically ask for their permission so that you can text them. And the last tip I want to give you on this is, if you go to the ICO office on the internet in the UK, you can get a really good insurance that covers you for holding any of the public's data. It doesn't matter what it is, email addresses, physical address, postal, mobile numbers, it covers you for all of that. So it's really worthwhile having, and it's only £35 a year. So go to the ICO office online and get that insurance for yourself. So just remember that once you have your customer's mobile number, you need to be very respectful of that trust the customer's given you. They've trusted you with something that's very personal to them. They may use that number for their banking. They may use it for texting the most important people in their life, or calling the most important people in their life, of which you are now included in that circle of people. So don't abuse the trust that they've given you. So over the course of this week, I'm going to be helping you to see how to use SMS to drive conversions. On Friday, I'm going to release a huge bonus, which comes from my friend Brandon Duff. He's also on LinkedIn. You can look him up, and he's on Facebook. There's something massive that he's just released on the AppSumo store, and it's only available until this Friday. But you're going to have to, if you want to know what it is, you can DM me in the meantime. It's a massive, nearly $2,000 saving on some Facebook tools. And they are brilliant tools. They're tools that I use. I swear by them. They are really, really powerful. But on Friday, I'm actually going to release that bonus for you. So the whole thing with marketing online is you need a system. And that's what you're going to get on Friday as well. There's a second bonus where I'm going to show you a whole system where you can do all of your funnels, your text, your SMS marketing, and so on. You can get access to all of that as part of what you're doing on this 5-day free challenge. So I'll show you how to sign up for it and how to get into it. The funnel system that I'm going to show you is much easier than ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels is so huge. This is really simple. You can get online with it, and within half an hour, you can have your first funnel built. That's exactly what I've built the funnels with for this 5-day challenge, was using this system. So you can make your pages look however you want. They are highly design free, and the scope for making changes on the pages is huge. So I'm sure you're going to be really impressed with that when I show you on Friday. So thank you for watching today, and I hope you will start thinking about how to use SMS and not to be stupid with it. You need to use it wisely so that you keep that trust with your customers, so that they will keep on your list, so that you can keep in communication with them. The last thing you want your customer to do is to get annoyed with you, because they will block you on their mobile number and they won't allow you to text them. With mobile numbers, you get 5 times more people reading the message than with email. So you've at least got a double the chance of getting someone to buy from you. So tomorrow, I'm actually going to show you the system that I've launched for the 5-day challenge for profitable fitness. It is an SMS system. It's got 2 options for you. It's actually free to use this system. You can sign up for free. All you need to do is send me a direct message with your email address, and I'll create the user account for you and put you on and show you how to start using it. You can send 1 SMS at a time. It's got the huge advantage internally on that system that you can set your identity for each message that you're sending. So you can pre-register your identity with us, and then your name will appear where that phone number should have been on the mobile phone. And then it's also got a bulk broadcast system, so you can upload your campaign's numbers and message, so you can tell them, oh, this is the code to access your offer, or this is how to access the offer on the internet. So that I'm going to be showing you tomorrow. So thank you for watching again tomorrow, around about 2 o'clock tomorrow. I should be online, both Facebook and YouTube, and then I'll republish this to LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's giving me some uphill about having a live account, which I hope to get from them soon. So thank you for watching today, and if you have any questions, feel free just to put them below the chat, and I'll help you out with how to configure SMS in your business so that you can double your sales. See you inside the challenge. The link will be below this video.